Hey, Joe here. It's garage time again. I had a successful outing last time out at IFO Gainesville. Took home the trophy and the cash, and that was a good time. I just threw the car in the trailer after that. Didn't even pop the hood. I pulled it in the trailer. It sounded kind of funny. I was like, we won. Let's go home. So I got the car home and pushed it out of the trailer. Went to start it up, bring it in the garage. It wouldn't start. So I came out here earlier, popped the hood, started looking around. I found some problems. Let me show you. So when I was trying to start the car to get it into the garage, the car was turning over and then fighting itself and turning over and fighting itself, and it sounded like the timing was off. I also thought it was possible, since on my last pass, the car hit the 10,000 RPM rev limiter a bunch on the 1.2. Maybe it tossed some rockers, maybe exhaust valves aren't opening, that's what it's fighting. I don't know. So I came out here, took a look, getting ready to pull the valve cover. And the first thing I saw was one of these, this spark plug wire just didn't look like it was on good enough. No big deal, but I went to grab it and I found that. So if you look right here, I have a 1G coil on here because my EVO 3 coil was suspect. And I was only able to use one bolt with this 1G coil. And that didn't last, you know? Right there, an example of why I need to do things correctly. So then I pulled the wires, getting ready to pull the valve cover, and I happened to notice this issue. Yeah, that belt's supposed to be on the gears, not hanging off of them. So a little closer inspection, I reached down around there. I found this belt right here to be very loose. So something's going on here for sure. I did pull the valve cover. As you can see, it's loose here. And what I found underneath the valve cover was this little piece of the valve cover baffle. It was just laying in there. I don't think it hurt anything, but I will inspect closer in just a moment. But first, I'm going to see if I can figure out if I can line this timing belt back up and if there's any damage. I can't seem to see anything wrong from up here. I see the tensioners there. I can see both bolts in it. I tried to move with my hands. They feel tight, but the backside of the belt's floppy. So I'm going to have to get down underneath and take a look. Alright, I thought it was possible I could find this crank bolt loose. Or something loose here. Maybe this crank sprocket could have walked over and caused an issue. I mean, you can see, well, maybe you can't see, but that belt's really loose between the oil pump and the crank sprocket. The only real clue I'm finding that makes sense to me is if I look way under here. Let me get some more light. Just past the belt there, that's the bottom of the tensioner, that round flat metal thing you see. It's about the size of a quarter. And it's got some oil or fluid on it. And there's no oil anywhere else. So I'm starting to think that tensioner quit on me. I'll have to take it off and get a look at it. I'm going to pull these spark plugs so it's easier for me to turn the motor over. I'm going to try to line these timing marks up and see what I come up with before I take the timing belt off. Alright, it's pretty hard to get my camera in there so you can see, but those two holes that you use to adjust this tensioner, they're like kind of at 9 o'clock right now. And really they should be closer to like 11 o'clock. So I'm starting to think that that tensioner came loose, and that's my problem. So I'm going to investigate that further. I'll let you know what I find. So I got a 14 millimeter on that tensioner. Let me see if I can show you what I found. The thing is loose. I was gonna say hand tight. It ain't tight. This is the J Racing tensioner tool. It has these two dowels that go in those holes on that tensioner pulley. and an 8mm hex so that you can tension it. So I got my timing belt tensioner tool down in there, and I got this little wrench on there. I'm gonna need to move it up like that to tension that, put some tension on that belt. I'm gonna need my other hand to tighten that bolt in the middle. All right, we just gotta get this thing to top dead center and see where we're at. All right, I spun it around a couple times. I have the crankshaft at top dead center right now, but the cam gears, there's a timing mark, and there's a timing mark. You know, dowel should be straight up. I don't know that it's on the right cycle right now anyway, but it's definitely off. I'm just gonna have to pull the belt, line everything up, and put the belt back on. And then I'll do a compression test and make sure that doesn't seem to be any issues. I hope. Skipping ahead a little, what you see there is a compression tester. And what I'm doing is turning the motor over so we can check compression on this thing. Okay, so the compression numbers turned out to be around 160, 140, 160, 170. Little extra cranking brought those numbers up a bit into the 175 range, but it only brought the 140 cylinder up to 150. So there's some inconsistency there, but nothing that necessarily shows that the valves took any damage. There'd be a bigger discrepancy there if that happens. So I'm gonna go ahead and start it up and see if it runs okay. At the vacuum numbers. That's pretty normal in vacuum, so I think everything's okay.
Put cheese on it. Put cheese on it.